Hey ladies, it's your Curvy Rose girls here. I'm Chanza. This is my big sis Kanika, and we wanted to talk to you guys about alterations at Curvy Rose. We just did an Instagram live, but for some reason I couldn't download the video on my phone. Technical problems. So we're redoing some of the things that we shared on Instagram here with you on Facebook about, again, our alterations process here at Curvy Rose. Something you may not know about Curvy Rose is that we do accept outside alterations. So if you bought your gown from somewhere else, did not buy it from us, we are more than happy to assist you with alterations. And one of the things that we do that's slightly different from other salons out there is that we accompany you to with your bridal alterations, and we're present at every appointment. We advocate for you during your appointments with the seamstress, because sometimes y'all don't know all the terminology, and we communicate with the seamstress and advocate for you to make sure that you get the look that you want and the look that you're looking for. Also, well, we were
I know, right? We talked about what we were going to talk about, and then we start this, and we don't remember.
When I'm redoing it, sometimes things go boop, right out my head.
Well, one of the things that we wanted to talk about with the whole alterations process is that it is a separate process from choosing your gown. So it is it's a completely separate pricing structure,
separate charge, in addition to your bridal gown purchase. So that occurs after your bridal gown is purchased. And generally speaking, when we order your gown, we usually take your measurements, and we purchase or we order a gown based upon your measurements on the day that you decide to purchase with us. So it's not going to be an exact fit when you purchase your bridal gown. It's not like going to a department store and picking something out and it fits great. Generally speaking, bridal gowns have to be altered after they've been ordered and come in, and that's what the alterations process is, and that's where that point of the process begins.
Right. And just to kind of give you like a real world idea of this, when you see your favorite celebrity on the red carpet, the designer dress that they are wearing has generally been altered to fit them perfectly.
It's been tailored.
And even to the moment that they step out onto the red carpet, you've got a team of seamstresses nipping and tucking and
make
sucking.
Sure it looks flawless and fabulous when they step out.
Right. So it's part of the whole process of just formal wear, really, in general. So, just keep that in mind as you go out, shopping for your formal wear for your bridal gown. What else? This is just so funny because we're doing this the second time.
And now we're not hitting all our points. Anyways, another thing we want y'all to be aware of is during the alterations process is your budget. A lot of times ladies aren't aware of how much alterations cost. Hey, Latoya, what's up, girl? And they aren't aware, and so we want to make sure that you all are aware of some of the costs of adding straps or adding sleeves to a gown. That's an additional cost. Sometimes we do have to order additional fabric for that, and that adds to your cost, your total budget. Also, like things where a gown has complete lace around the full circumference of the bottom of the gown, that can add cost to your alterations as well. Sometimes designers will allow us to order in 3 different lengths, and we would order the length that's closest to your height. Like, for instance, the hem is 55 inches or 58 inches. Sometimes the hem is a standard length, so you have to keep that in mind. When you have lace at the bottom of a gown like this, hold on just a sec while I flip the camera around. Hold on just a moment. When you have lace that goes around the full circumference of a gown like this, sometimes that has to be removed. The gown has to be hemmed, and then that lace reattached, which is a lot of work for a seamstress. So please, please, please keep that in mind when you have hem lace like that goes around the full bottom of the gown, that may be something that you have to consider and consider adding more to your alterations budget for that. Okay? Some folks won't tell you that, but we're here to help.
Yeah, here to help. The other thing is, we get a lot of questions about, well, what happens if I bought a gown off the rack at one of these sample sales and the dress was way too big? Can you cut it down? And yes, we can. One of the things that to keep in mind is you want to go to a expert seamstress. They have to be a master seamstress in order to cut your dress down for the appropriate proportion. Because see, that's what we're really after here is the proportion
and the fit that we want.
Yeah, because it's not just like, oh, well, let me just cut off the back and then just cut off a little bit from the sides and there you go. No, you have to. It's a very meticulous process, and you want to go with someone who's a master seamstress. And we contract with master seamstresses here all the time. And again, we walk through the whole process with you, so you understand where they're going to cut, where they're going to sew, where they're going to reattach. So you really kind of know the whole process as we're going through it, so you're not left in the dark wondering, is that going to really work? One of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of the bust cups are often too big, and so that generally is one alteration piece that has to happen.
For most brides. For most brides, they require the bust cut to be adjusted because usually, again, they're too big. Also, with gowns that are a couple of sizes too large, it depends on the gown. It depends on the level of beading and how complicated the gown is constructed in order to bring the size down. The more complicated it is, then that means that you're talking more about reconstruction rather than alterations, which will bring your budget up, bring the cost up of the alterations. So please keep that in mind as well. Now, again, we contract with experts. They're able to do wonderful, amazing things, but it's not going to be for free.
Right. And so, you know,
be aware of that as well.
Right. Okay. But if it's a simple, gown,
and most of the gowns that we have here in stock, or that we order, can be altered and we can make it look great for you. So, just again, keep that in mind. Also, please keep in mind, I know we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Keep in mind. I know, I keep saying that. Also, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about deeply discounted gowns that you buy online that are not authorized. You know, those counterfeit gowns that people tend to want to purchase because the price is so appealing to them. We also want you to be aware that those gowns can tend to be made of inferior quality and therefore make the alterations process really difficult. When you start cutting on the fabric, it starts to rip and go in places that you don't want it to go. The proportion is off. The fabric buckles in places it shouldn't. It doesn't lay right. Please be aware that if you do purchase those types of gowns, the alterations process will be very difficult a lot of times, and it may not come out the way that you want it to. So I don't want to harp on these counterfeit gowns too much, but it can become a problem. So I've heard from other seamstresses that we've worked with, other custom bridal gown makers, designers out there that are local, and they say we also do alterations, and these ladies bring in these gowns and I don't know what to do for them because I really can't do anything for them. So, be aware of that as well.
If the price is too low, it's probably too good to be true.
Absolutely.
If you got a gown that has full beading and lace, and it's only like $300,
yeah, that's not what you're literally going to get what you paid for, and that's not something that you want.
Yeah, so just beware.
Yeah, be aware of that. So I think we've kind of sort of hit all our points.
Yeah, one more thing though. For us, if you do alterations with us, generally speaking, we like to see you 6 weeks before your wedding date. just to make sure that we cover all of our
bases and all of our points. So if you're planning on losing weight and stuff like that, make sure that at least 6 to 8 weeks before your wedding, stop.
Yeah.
So that we can make sure that the gown fits the way that it should, and we don't need to make any other nips and alterations and adjustments to make you look perfect on your day. Generally speaking, alterations are about 3 sessions. And of course the final being to make sure that everything is perfect, and usually that's probably about 2 weeks to a week out from your wedding day.
Yeah, we try to make sure that everything is done at least 2 weeks out, just in case, you know.
Yeah.
We can do it in certain cases. We can do it in a shorter period of time, but we like to give 6 to 8 weeks as a general rule.
Absolutely. I think that's pretty much it. I know we were kind of scattered and all over the place with this one. Yeah, because again, we just did this on Instagram. But if you have any questions or concerns, please just give us a shout, give us a call, send us an email, message us through Facebook or Instagram, and we're more than happy to answer your questions.
And we're always here to help. There are no silly questions or questions that you should have known, because this whole process, as you would probably learn, is like going to school. You're learning everything all new. Budgets are all like, what? You mean it costs that much a plate just to feed people? Like, I'm having a buffet. Like, what's the big deal? I mean, you learn so much about this whole process, and so we're here to help, and we're not here to try to like hustle you or anything like that. If you have a question about like, wow, I'm really looking at a dress like this, is this a reasonable price for something like this? We're willing to, we may not
help. We may not carry that gown, but we're willing to help and let you know a general ballpark of what that may look like. We can't give exact prices, not even for the gowns that we have in stock, but we can give you a general ballpark of what things may or may not be.
Or even in the alterations process, we can give you a general ballpark of how much it would cost for our seamstresses and what we charge. Now, other places, everybody charges
different.
Something different. So, but with us, you're gonna get, one-on-one personal care service. This lady right here knows how to. She is a stickler for proportion, honey.
Yeah.
She will she'll go to bat.
I'll go to bat for you. Absolutely.
Not that I won't, but this one.
I'm a little bit of a perfectionist as far as that goes. Yeah, I'm a little much.
But it's fine, because it's all for you.
All for you.
And
all to make
sure that you look great.
Beautiful. Absolutely. So anywho, that's enough for now. Yep. Have a happy Saturday.
Yep.
We love y'all, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.